Okay, so the intro for There She Goes, this is the main riff as well. Guitar starts the tune, and we're going to start by playing the open G string. And that's going to happen on the and of the counting. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and. While that's going on, my first finger's already in place. It's already at the 3rd fret, and it's laid down across the B and the E strings. So I've got both notes with one finger here, because when we play these notes, we want them all to ring into each other. So we're playing the open G string, and then the high E and the B. Then I'm going to keep that first finger down, but I'm going to now hold the 5th fret with my 3rd finger. And that means my first finger's already in place for the next note, so I can play. You can hear the notes ringing together, which is exactly what we want. So excluding the open string at the start there, we've got the 2 3s, 5th fret, 3 again on the B string, and now I'm going to have to move my hand for the first time. So I'm going to bring my first finger to the 2nd fret of the high E, and my second finger, middle finger, is going to go on the B string at the 3rd fret. So there, again excluding the open string for a second. And from here, I'm then going to tuck my 3rd finger in underneath. And that's going to give me the 2 3s at the end of the phrase. So very slowly, that first bar with the counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. So really the key there is getting that first finger laid down on the 3rd fret, because that's going to facilitate doing the first 4 notes. Then there's a finger move for the 2 and the 3. Again, first finger's on the 2nd fret, middle finger's on the 3rd on the B string, and I'm just tucking in my ring finger underneath to get those last 2 notes. Into bar 3, what's bar 3 on the tab there, we're then going to take our fingers off that high string, so we've got an open string, and I'm just alternating between that high open string and the 3rd fret on the B string. Open G, and then back to that B string again. So one finger staying in place for that whole bar. We'll do that whole bar. 3, 4. And then really the phrase starts over. So bar 4 is the same as what was bar 2, and bar 5 is the same as what was bar 3. So it is a 2-bar phrase. So I'm going to play bar 2, bar 3, then I'll pause, and then we'll do 4 and 5 so you can hear how it repeats itself. Okay, with the counting and the open G string, here we go. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. And then for 4 and 5, we're doing the same thing. Alright, so that's our main riff. So into bars 6, 7, and then 8 and 9, it's that same riff repeating itself. And the guitar in the song is all on its own at this point, so it's important we can really hear all of those notes. So I'm going to jump ahead to where the band come in. This is bar 10 on the music. We're still playing the riff here, exactly as it was before. So that's the same, but you'll notice in bar 12, 13, and then 14, 15, we've got what looks like these kind of double percentage signs. So if you're not sure what that means, those percentage signs mean they are a 2-bar repeat. So the riff that we've played in bar 10 and 11 is going to repeat in bars 12 and 13, and it repeats a 3rd time in 14 and 15. So the reason we use those is that we can very quickly and visually see that we are playing the same thing over again. It's going to repeat 3 times, instead of writing a long stream of notes that we then consciously have to look at one at a time and try and decipher, and then realise that they're all the same. So, again, moving on to some new stuff. Bar 16, this is where the riff changes slightly. So now I'm at the 5th fret on the B string, and I'm going to do that with my 3rd finger. And then high E string at the 3rd fret, and I'm going to do that with my 1st finger. So 3rd and 1st. Cover that gap really nicely. And we're going to play 1 and 2 and again I've done that thing where I'm tucking my finger underneath the other one, so I'm using my little finger in this case, so it's the 5, 3, 5, 5 on the high E string, and that note's going to ring out. Then you're going to have to take that finger off to reveal the 3rd fret. So really, these 2 fingers aren't moving. It's just that little finger is getting tucked in and then taken off again. And you have to move your first finger right at the end of the bar to get the last note, which is the 3rd fret on the B string. So the whole of bar 16, with counting, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again without counting. And bar 17, very similar, our fingers are still in the same place, playing those same 2 notes, but this time they're going to ring early on in the bar, so we're going to have 1 and 2 and 3 and then 4 and. We'll put 16 and 17 together. Hear what that sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then to bar 18, we're still going to have these 3rd and 1st fingers in the same shape, but now we're sliding it up to the 7th fret and the 5th fret. Just watch out, there's a quaver rest, a half beat rest at the start of this bar. So instead of going 1, we're actually going 1 and we play just after the beat. So with counting, and then I'll break this phrase down, that would go 1 and 2 and 3, and then we're moving down 5 and 3, that's what we were holding a minute ago, and then 2 and 3, but you can see my fingers have changed shape there, so I've gone from a fret in between them and then changing the shape at the end. Back with the counting, that would be 1 and 2 and 3 and we're going to change for the 4 and. So together, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I'm not really lifting my fingers between those first 2 shapes, just sliding them down, and then of course you do have to change because the shape's different at the end. So let's do 16, 17 and 18 all together, nice and slow. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. That's that whole line. So that really wraps up what is the intro, the instrumental part at the start of this song. Go back and just check out any of those parts and obviously spend some time on it, because that is the main riff, which does appear a few times in this song, so we need to be really good at that. But let's head into the chorus. Alright then, so the chorus, we're going to be playing, we'll go through the chords first. G chord, D chord, a C add 9, and a D again. And on the page it's marked D over F sharp. If you do want to play that F sharp, because I didn't make it appear on the tab there for the sake of simplicity, but if you do want to play that, you can hook your thumb over the top, 2nd fret on the low E string, so then when you strum, I'm actually going through all 6 strings. That would be the correct D over F sharp. However, it's a lot to do with what the bass is doing, and remember there's a couple of guitar parts in this song, so I would say just playing a straight D chord is going to get you 99% of the way there. Just a note on the G chord as well, a lot of people play their G chord with their 3rd finger right at the bottom on the high E string there. In this case, we're actually going to have our 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, and it becomes like an anchor. Now if you were to look at the tab down below and you see the G chord, that 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, well, when we're changing to the D chord, it's still in the same place, and when you're changing to C add 9, it's still in the same place, so it's very much like an anchor. Again, in bars 21 and 22, we've got that double percentage sign, so the progression that we're playing in the 2 bars of bar 19 and bar 20 repeats itself 3 times. And again, the reason we use those percentage signs is that we can see that repetition very quickly and visually. So it's that chord progression 3 times, but we will play that in a second. So, strumming wise, down strums for the first part, they're just crotchets. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then onto the C add 9, and it would sound like this: 1, 2, and. So for that and, I'm doing an up strum. Down, down, up. That's going to ring, and we're going to quickly change to a D. and we're going to play up, down, up without stopping. Counting with it. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and really slow. You can hear that the beat 3 there, we're counting, but we're not strumming. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and both bars together with counting. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and without counting, but I will count it in. 3, 4. So that's our strumming, and again, like I said, with those percentage signs, that is going to repeat itself 3 times. So that 2-bar pattern repeats 3 times at the start of this chorus with the words "there she goes." All right, so then we get into bar 25, and we've got an A minor chord, G chord. Again, watch out for the fact that the 3rd finger is on the B string, and now a standard C chord, not C add 9. And in 27-28, the strumming is going to be the same. So 25 and 26 is what it would sound like. 3, 4. If we put some counting on that as well, you'd have crotchets. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then for the C add 9, sorry, just a regular C chord now. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So both bars together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. I'll count it in, but no counting with it this time. 3, 4. 27-28 are the same. And then a bit like earlier on, when we get into bar 29, we did this in the intro. That kind of little phrase. Well, we're not starting on beat 1 here, so it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm using all down strums for that. So don't play on beat 1. So if we count that bar in, we'll try that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and if we just put that whole line together from 25 through to 29. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1. So at that point, we hit a repeat mark at the end of the line there in bar 29, and that's going to send us back to the start of the chorus, bar 19, for the G chord and D chord for the "there she goes" part again. So do watch out for those repeat marks. But that wraps up the chorus. Again, that's going to happen very similar later on in the song. So we'll go into the instrumental break. Alright, so for the instrumental break, hopefully when you look at bar 30 and onwards, this riff looks familiar. It is the main riff that we had in the intro of the song. So that whole line then, we're going to go 30 to 33. Not going to dwell on it, but we'll play it. So after 4, nice and slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So that was actually 30 through to 35 there. Put it all together as is, it's the same. So in 36 things change, and in 37 as well. They are quite similar to what we did earlier. So 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the B string, and 1st finger on the 3rd fret of the high E. So we're going to play those, but then tucking that little finger on the high 5th fret, which are moves we did earlier. But now we're going to have to move those fingers for the 3rd fret on the B and 5th fret on the B string. 3rd fret on the B, 5th fret on the B. I'm still using my 1st finger and 3rd finger, but obviously they've had to move from the positions they were earlier. So that would be slowly 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So that was 36 and 37. Together nice and slowly. Difficult because a lot of the notes are off the beat there, off the beat, landing on the ands. Again, 36, 37, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Carrying on to 38, similarly, we don't play beat 1. That first note's in a bracket, so it's just showing us it's holding over from the previous bar. So the first note we're going to pick is that 3 on the high E string. So we'll start from there. So that'll be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So let's do 36, 37 and 38 as a group together. I think that's the best way to practice these few bars. Here we go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then into 39, again same 2 fingers around the same 2 frets, but now there's no breaks in the pattern, so our counting would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're playing on every beat. With the counting, it would sound like this. This is bar 39. 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the key part there is when you cross from the and of 2 to the beat 3, there's 2 3s back to back. So I'm doing that with just my first finger, just rolling over those notes. There, it's just flattening out, which means it's then already in the place for the last 2. And then bar 40, this is the same little sliding phrase we had in our intro. So 3rd finger and 1st finger. And again, we don't play on beat 1, it's on the and instead. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But hopefully that is pretty familiar now based on what we did in the intro. So that's the end of the instrumental break. Things do get a little bit easier in the next section, which is the bridge. Alright, so for the bridge then, we'll do the chords first. Nice long held chords here. E minor, C add 9, which we had earlier in the tune, E minor again, a standard C chord, and a normal D chord. Rhythm-wise, the E minor, the C add 9, and the following E minor all get 4 beats each, semi-breve, so we'll just play those and count those 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in bar 44, C chord gets 2 beats, and the D chord gets played on 3 and 4. And you'll notice there is little dots underneath the notation there. They are staccato dots. That means to keep those chords short and sharp. So instead of, we want. So doing that, I'm strumming the strings and then immediately resting my hand down. Strum, rest, to keep those short. We'll play that again. 3, 4. That's what we want our D chords to sound like. With the C chords, so this is bar 44, it would be 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Whole line together, 41 through 44 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, and on to the next line. Very similar, but now we're just strumming on every beat. So G chords and D chords, just like earlier on in the tune. Watch out, that G chord has a 3rd finger on the B string at the 3rd fret. And we're just strumming on the beat here. And the D chords, you'll notice, still have those little staccato dots underneath, so they still need to be short and sharp. So the first bar, bar 45, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bar 46, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 47 is the same what we've already done. And 48 is what we've already done. So all of that together, 45 through 48. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice strumming there. And then into 49, A minor, which is a chord we've already had. And watch out for the notation there. We've got down, down, up, down in our strumming. Sounds like this. In bar 50, the strumming is the same, but we've changed to E minor. Same in bar 51, but changing to C. And And in D, hopefully you recognise this now, quaver rest at the start, so which means we're not strumming 1, we're strumming 1 and, just off the beat. So just in bar 52 there, that would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all down strums. So let's put 49 through 52 together. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. So you can probably hear on bar 52 there, when that rest happened, I actually muted the strings. So even though we're not strumming anything, we have to kind of play the rest. Our hand has to go down to stop the sound, make a nice clear break between the C chord and then starting that D. So if I'm going to do bar 51, the C chord, into bar 52, the D chord, and just play it slowly, listen for that rest. So 1, 2 and 3 and 4, rest. And I'm saying the word rest there in place of beat 1. If we do it with the counting with 1 as well. 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 1. So that rest is actually really important to make sure we have a nice clean break between those chords. And the rest of the band do that as well, so I feel that's quite important. Alright, well if you've got this far, it's pretty home and dry then in terms of the rest of the song. So I'll see you for the last chorus. Alright, in the last chorus then, for the There She Goes line, bar 53 to 63 in the tab. We've done all of this before. Just a quick reminder, the double percentage signs mean to repeat the previous 2 bars. So bar 53, 54 happen once because they're written. Again for 55, 56 and a third time. So what we're going to do, we're not going to dwell on this because hopefully you've already practiced it. We talked about it a bit more in depth earlier on. But we're going to just play through 53 all the way through 63, 53 to 63. And again, in 63 with that D chord, watch out for the rest on beat 1. You've got to play the rest. You've got to mute the strings. Just pop your hand down just before you strum. Okay, let's do it. After 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The last chorus. So then we get into the ending. Well, the ending then is really just the same as we were playing a minute ago, bar 64 on the music. We're still strumming our G chord, D chord, C add 9 and the D. Remember in this part the third finger is like an anchor, it doesn't move between all those chords. And you can see bar 64 and 65 have a ×3 repeat around them. So we're going to play those 3 times. And then the final strum. So on the G chord for the final strum, we're just going to play it once. And you can see those 2 notes, they're both 4-beat notes, semibreves, they're both tied together. That's those curvy lines. And the second ones are in brackets, so we don't play notes in brackets. So really we're just going to strum that chord once, let it ring for 2 counts of 4, or you could just count to 8. So let's just do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how we're going to end it. So let's play this ending. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that completes the song. Anything you need to rewatch, of course, please do. Any problems, any questions, let me know. Get in touch. All right, that's it for There She Goes. I hope you enjoyed that one.